Hi everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's had a great week and is enjoying their weekend. If anyone is working, good luck and don't work too hard. It is a Sunday and it's Monday tomorrow, so you can do it then. So, second video, I've decided to. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for their kind comments about the channel as a whole and the idea of it and the concept of it, and obviously constructive feedback. So I have moved from that way to this way. So you can now see my nice arrangement of empty deodorant cans, which I have not thrown out, and I will do after this video. But also, yeah, you will hopefully be a little bit better lit as well. So it might look a little bit better, fingers crossed. So today for this video, I've decided to focus on like demonstrating and teaching at university. As a PhD student. And obviously a lot of people will vary with regards to their experience and the amount of teaching and demonstrating they will do. So for example, if you're a GCA, you will have a lot more experience with working with undergrads than other PhD students. So for example, I only demonstrate at the minute on a Thursday, 10:30 until 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish. And I know a lot of PhD students, not all of them enjoy demonstrating. Some of them don't like it. However, I really do. I think it's great. I think it's fun. It's something different in your week. I think if I was doing it every single day, it might be a little bit draining. But it's once a week, and it's not for an incredible amount of time. And it's just something different, I think. And you get to meet a lot of new people. You get to see what people coming through the system are like as well. So I really enjoy it. And well, I normally enjoy it. However, the first Freshers Week and the week after Freshers Week was rough on my immune system. You can tell they go out a lot. I thought I had shingles at one point. I thought I probably had some form of hepatitis. Not sure which one, maybe like Z, not sure. But apart from that, as long as demonstrating in Freshers Week is a nightmare because everyone is coughing and dying. But I'm still here, so it's fine. But no, realistically, I love doing it. I think it's great. And you get to experience a lot of issues with regards to student problems. Well, not student problems, but the problems are experienced within the lab that they're working in. And I've found in the last few weeks that a lot of questions are quite similar with regards to same groups and different groups, but they've all got similar issues. And most of them are solvable and are not too difficult, and they might have just misinterpreted something, or they may have entered the wrong data point into their data set. But I don't want to focus on that because that's just a little blip or whatever. My main focus of today is I think it's my own ignorance that I also sort of want to focus on, because I had it in week 1 and week 2 where two individuals, different individuals, came up to me and was like, where do I save my work to? So I thought, do they need to save it onto a platform of some sort to be assessed? So I went over and they were like, no, I just want to save it. So I went, well, just save it into your documents. And they were like, how do I find that? Okay. So we got the documents up. And I said, right, if you just create a new folder, prac1, stats, and save it into that. And they went, how do I create a new folder? And I was sat there in my head thinking, are you being serious? Like, do you not know? Are you having me on? Are you trying to wind me up? Or do you generally not know how to do it? So we did it, and I said, right, just save your Excel workbook into the folder that we've just created together. How do I do that? And it was at that point I knew that they weren't winding me up. And I went into these demonstrating sessions thinking the questions will it how to interpret this data, or what does this data mean, or why are we doing this sort of stuff? Not how do you create a new folder in your documents. And I think, well, it's not the undergrad's fault, in my opinion. It's if they're not taught how to do it, they won't know how to do it. And people will say, oh, well, you should do it in your own time, or this is basic stuff, you should know how to do it. But when you're at school, for example, you don't use computers unless you're doing ICT. You work in your books, you hand in your books, you'll back your books, and yeah, you'll write away, and that's how you hand your work in. You don't use computers unless you're in ICT, and a lot of children, teenagers may not have computers at home because the families can't afford it. So therefore, if you don't have a computer at home and you've not been taught how to do something on a computer, how on earth are you going to know how to create a new folder? As basic as it seems. And it results in a lot of, disadvantage teenagers and undergrads struggling with the most basic of computer skills that everyone else takes for granted. And like I say, my ignorance, I didn't think about it, which I'm very now glad that I do think about it and I understand this. Better anyway. So it really terrified me because I think back to like when I was in school, and I never did ICT, GCSE. I remember I was at a parents' evening with my mum and dad, and obviously I chose my GCSEs because I knew I wanted to do what I wanted to do, but my mum and dad were like, you need to do ICT. So we went to parents' evening, and they sat down with my ICT teacher. They said, we would like Connor to, at least consider or doing ICT at GCSE. And my teacher went, no, he's not good enough at it. And we were like, okay, how can we develop his skills? It's like, you can't really. I was like, are you, like, this was a teacher who was saying this to me. This is only like 10 years ago. This is not like it's the 1960s. And yeah, it was really striking. So I think if any other people had also experienced this sort of, had this experience that I had as well, you wouldn't really want to use computers. You'd be like, well, someone said I wasn't very good at it. And at that age, I'm not saying it seems like the end of the world, but it's also it's a bit of a hit, and they're putting a preconception in your head that you can't do something and you can't use this computer, so therefore you shouldn't use computers ever again because it's not your strength. But obviously we live in 2019 and computers are at the basis of absolutely everything we do. And this is not a new comment, this is a very well-known fact for numerous years, the importance of computers. So when you're hearing teachers say things like this, what I had was really surprising. So I only really thought about this point the other day. I was walking home from work, and I thought, well, maybe the person who asked me about how to create that folder had a similar experience to what I had. I was fortunate I had a computer at home, so I knew how to do the basics. I knew how to use Excel. I knew how to use Word. Not very well, but I knew how to do it. But what happens if this person had the same experience as me, but they had no computer at home to have that as an outlet to learn it personally? And therefore, you get to university at 18 and 19, and you're looking at this computer being like, this is the first computer I've seen in 5 years, because I've not done it since year 8 or 9. Therefore, I don't know how to create a folder. Who knows? So you don't know people's backgrounds, you don't know how people work, and what the experience they've had up until they come here. So, yeah, my ignorance, I thought, was very bad on my behalf. I thought really bad. Don't get me wrong, I helped them, absolutely. I just felt really bad that I'd not thought about that other people may not have the same skill set that I had when I was like 18 or 19. And yeah, that really struck me. It really struck me. And I mean, it helps, I think, because now we'll have that thought in my head at all times that actually, yeah, we don't know what these guys are doing. We don't know what they were like before they came here. So hopefully that will they'll only develop from here on in, and it'll be fine. But I don't know, it really scared me when I got asked that question. But I think when I did my year 8, year 9 ICT lessons, which were a bit of a joke anyway, all we ever did was, one, watch YouTube. Sometimes that was like advised. Most of the times we just watched it anyway. But then secondly, we made a game. So I don't know if anyone else had this who was around about my age. So the game we played, I was stupid. The sheep were being rounded up by a farmer, but the sheep would get out of the pen and then chase the farmer around a little block, and you would make that into a game, and you'd be the farmer, like, messing around. And when I say we made the game, we didn't make the game. I think we put, like, a sheep's face on a sheep and then made the farmer wear a red coat instead of a green coat or whatever. But what realistic use is that, in all fairness? Okay, if you want to be a games designer, yeah, great. But we did that for like a term. and we weren't taught how to put an equation into Excel, or you weren't taught how to put line numbers or special characters into Word, which you now learn yourself how to do it. And it's not difficult stuff. It's not hard, but you don't. A lot of like younger people will not think. They won't think to Google search it, because literally just search how do you put an equation into Word. Well, it's there. That's how you do it. But a lot of people don't know how to do that, and they won't do it, and therefore, well, they don't know how to do it. So yeah, I think what I was taught was complete useless stuff at school. Whether or not it's changed now, I don't know. It's been 10 years since I did it, so I mean, I hope it's changed, but I don't think it's massively changed if we're looking at new undergrads starting in the 2019 academic year who can't save folders or create folders and save files into it. And like I say, it's not their fault. It's just our education system is just not the best, and needs probably a little bit of reform. I think we've known that for a long time. Because otherwise, people from disadvantaged backgrounds are just not going to stop being from disadvantaged backgrounds. So if we can help them just in this one very, very small part of their university degree, then I feel like that's a win. But yeah, I don't know, really scary, really, really scary. So that's what I wanted to do my second video on. So hopefully, well, some of the people may have had similar questions, which thought you never would have expected to have because they were too basic. And like I say, my ignorance, and I felt really bad for it, but now I'm glad I had that ignorance in a way, so it's made me think, actually, yeah, it shone a light on something that I had no idea about before. And you learn something new every day. And that was my take-home message. It's been my take-home message for about a month now, I think. So that's what I wanted to do. Also, I hope everyone found that relatively fun, not too dark, and yeah, I don't know what my next video is going to be on. See what happens this week. I'm sure something will come up that I want to rant about or chat about or whatever. And yeah, if anyone has any comments or whatever, just drop me a message and we can go from there. And no worries. Have a good week, everyone, and I'll see you all very soon.